Hello, my name is Marie Hicks, and the issue that I have with the criminal justice system is the fact that the death row inmates, death row itself, I have a major issue with. It all started like years ago when my um, neighbor, she got murdered, and I didn't know her that well, but we, socialized, and she was a good person, and she was a single mother. The baby was sleeping. We lived in apartments. I lived downstairs. She lived in an upstairs. And one of the other neighbors managed to climb over into her deck while she was sleeping and strangled her to death, left the baby alive, and he got away with it for several years. Well, with the new DNA, and I really do love the new DNA testing, that's another thing. Uh, the advantages to catch these killers is the DNA, and the disadvantages is when they get away with it. Like the trophies that they leave behind helps arrest them too. But I'm saying that I really want to catch like serial killers or be I wanted to work with human trafficking, but my age doesn't permit it. I don't think anyway. I read that somewhere. My research on serial killers is that the uh, how it used to be almost every state had death row or the option, and um, it most of it was humane. Like I think hanging is a good one. The state of Washington, where I'm from, used to have hanging until this big man was hung from his. He got hung. He was overweight extremely, and so it didn't kill him. And so now he's sitting in life in prison without the possibility of parole. But when they say that, sometimes years and years go by and they get released anyway. So I am for the death penalty and I am not. In other words, now they're trying to abolish the death row in every state. In most states, it has been abolished. So, from the research I've done, and state of California started it last year, then Washington, no, California did 2 or 3 years ago. State of Washington was a year ago. Anyway, I think that it should be up to the victims' families. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that grieve when they lose somebody. My parents both died, and I had grieving issues for quite some time. I got over it. You never really get over it, but you live on because we're born to die, and we don't know when our time is up. And I've died like 4 times clinically due to illness, and I'm a survivor. God, it's not my time yet, and I got a purpose now, and it is to help capture serial killers or human traffickers. Anyway, and the terrorists also. They are. I don't want to leave the country though with the world the way it's getting now with overpopulation and racism, and it's just hate all over the place, negative energy, and it's going to get worse because of overpopulation. But this COVID thing is really just making everybody, scared, and with fear comes anger. And I've studied that, and I took psychology before criminal justice, and I know a lot about how to deal with these kind of issues. I also the neighbor that got killed, this was a long time ago, but I was scared because I had my kids and they were little and now they're adult children. But the guy that murdered her, he was a nice guy and he was our neighbor. And so I thought it was just someone at random followed her home because she worked at a bar and came home to her kids. She didn't drink or anything, and she was very celibate, and so was I. But it was scary because I couldn't just get up and move. And, we didn't know who the killer was. And so I locked my doors at night. And I've seen a lot of ugly things in this world. And boy, if my mom only knew. No, she knew that I've gone through a lot, though, but so did she after dad died. But I've learned from experience that, you have to be aware, especially when you're out in the big world alone. And when you're single with little kids, it's scary for women, but protect yourself. I believe in protection. I believe in owning a gun and having, if someone is trying to break into your house, I would shoot them in the legs. And they say they're better off dead and drag their body more than halfway through the door. A sheriff once told me that. But I got slipped a Mickey one time at a bar, and the same bar that this woman went to. And I wondered if it was that guy, and because I had one drink and I went to the bathroom and I drank the rest of my drink. I went home and I couldn't even shut my door. It was all slow motion, and I was laying on my bed as I watched two men come in and just peel everything out of my apartment. It was scary. And then, of course, as soon as I got a little better, it was like I was paralyzed. So by the time the police came, I managed to dial 911, but they were already gone. I lost all my stuff. And that was a good warning sign to not go out to the pubs alone, and especially being a woman. And, it was just a highly dangerous situation. And even though the world is getting worse with hate crimes, and I live in a town that hate crimes are just, they're bad, but we have like different races here, but we have the Navy here and all kinds of stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that the guy that murdered my neighbor, he was a nice guy. And when we found out years later with the new DNA, the advantages of DNA, they left it up to the victim's family. Well, the victim's mother, went insane over it because they didn't catch him for several years. She had a breakdown and she'll never be the same. And I'm not saying for her to be the decider of his fate. I'm saying for the immediate family members. I think all immediate family members that did not have a breakdown, a major one, should be able to decide if the person gets death row or they get life without the possibility of parole. Now, there are some executions that are inhumane, and I am not for that, those types, but I believe in the firing squad. It's a quick, easy way to go. Hanging up to a certain weight, I guess, and I'd have to study that one more. But all the research I've done and everything, I really believe that the victim's family should be able to have the say-so of the suspects or the guilty party, their fate. Okay, thank you. That was my issue. The disadvantages, I don't see any to that. So, thank you very much and have a great day.